I was born to run these bootlegging routes. We want to thank everybody out there who voted for us. It means a lot to be able to share this award with you, and we hope that we continue to make good content for you guys so that you keep voting for us. You know, we love doing this channel. When we started it, we just thought it'd be something fun to do, to talk about some of our favorite things, which includes history. And when we found out how many people out there love history as well, especially automotive history, we figured, hey, let's talk about it. So, thanks again for the award. We really appreciate it, and we hope that we can live up to your expectations for years to come. Now, let's get into today's video. The National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, or NASCAR, is widely regarded as the premier stock car racing organization in the world. The modern incarnation was founded in December of 1947, but the seeds of the organization were planted decades earlier. During the height of Prohibition, souped-up cars were used to transport illegal moonshine through the southern states. Many of the best bootleggers lived in the Appalachian Mountains in the Carolinas and Georgia, where the terrain was rough and the winding mountain roads provided the perfect place to lose tailgunning revenuers. Moonshine runners modified their cars to not only handle the rough terrain, but to outrun the police. Most of the cars were Fords because they were cheap and easy to work on. But Chevys and Dodges were also seen from time to time. These cars were given nicknames like Swamp, Gucci, Dixie, Flyer, and Rock Pimple Special. They were equipped with massive V8 engines that produced anywhere from 150 to 200 horsepower. The engines were paired with beefed-up transmissions and rear ends to handle the extra power and torque. The suspensions were strengthened and the brakes were enlarged. Many of the cars were also given custom paint jobs and unique body panels. Some of the most famous bootlegging cars were driven by people who went on to become NASCAR legends. For example, Junior Johnson drove a modified 1939 Ford Deluxe for many years before he turned to racing full-time. As the years went on, the moonshine runners started to compete against each other to see who had the fastest car and the best driving skills. These races were usually held on weekends, and they were a big hit with the locals. The word got around to Bill France, SR, a race promoter from Daytona Beach, Florida, who realized that there was a need for an organization to oversee stock car racing. He invited some of the top bootleggers and racers to a meeting at the Streamline Hotel in Daytona Beach to discuss the possibility of forming a racing association. The meeting took place on December 14, 1947. There were 28 men present representing various areas of the country. The group discussed the need for standardization in racing and the importance of having a governing body to oversee the sport. After 2 days of discussion, the group decided to form an organization called the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Bill France Sr. was elected president of the organization, and he set about the task of creating the first NASCAR championship. The first NASCAR race was held on Valentine's Day 1948 at the Daytona Beach Road Course. Only 6 cars participated in the 150-mile event, which was won by Red Byron. Despite the small turnout, the race was a huge success, and it was clear that there was a lot of interest in stock car racing. Over the next few years, NASCAR's popularity grew rapidly, and the organization expanded to other parts of the country. By the early 1950s, NASCAR was a major force in motorsports, and it has remained one of the most popular forms of racing ever since. The sport was initially known as strictly stock, which reflected the type of cars that were allowed to participate. The cars had to be basically stock, meaning that they could be purchased off the showroom floor. Any modifications that were made to the cars had to be approved by Nascar. This ensured that the races were as fair as possible, and that no one team had an unfair advantage over the others. In addition, it made the sport more accessible to ordinary people because anyone could feel the car if they had the money and the know-how. The early days of stock car racing were dominated by drivers from the southern United States. This was because the sport grew out of moonshining, which was most prevalent in the South during Prohibition. Many of the best-known drivers of this era were from North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Some of the most famous names in early stock car racing include Junior Johnson, Fireball Roberts, and Lee Petty. These drivers were not only skilled racers, but they were also shrewd businessmen. They knew how to promote themselves, and they took advantage of every opportunity to get in front of the fans. This helped to grow the popularity of the sport and make it the success it is today. As stock car racing grew in popularity, it attracted the attention of car manufacturers. At first, the manufacturers were hesitant to get involved because they were afraid that the racing would damage their cars and their brand. However, as the sport grew, manufacturers realized that they could use racing to promote their cars and reach new customers. In the 1960s and 70s, manufacturers began to invest heavily in stock car racing, and this led to some of the most exciting times in the history of the sport. The competition was fierce, and the cars were becoming more and more advanced. This was also a time when the sport began to break out of the South and become more popular nationally. During the 1980s and 90s, NASCAR experienced a surge in popularity. The biggest stars of the era were Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, and Jeff Gordon. Earnhardt was known as the Intimidator, and he was famous for his aggressive driving style. Petty was nicknamed the King, and he won a record 7 championships. Gordon was the most popular driver of his generation, and he helped to usher in a new era of fans. During this time, NASCAR expanded to new markets and television ratings soared. In recent years, NASCAR has faced challenges such as declining attendance and competition from other forms of entertainment. However, the organization has taken steps to address these issues. They have experimented with different race formats, and they have embraced new technology. In addition, NASCAR has made efforts to become more inclusive and appeal to a wider range of fans. The future of NASCAR is uncertain, but the organization is taking steps to ensure that it remains one of the most popular forms of racing in the world. NASCAR has come a long way since those early races on the Daytona Beach road course. The organization has grown significantly, and the sport has changed a lot over the years. However, the core of NASCAR remains the same. It is a sport.